development has been going 7 years, and it's myself and Claire Smith as directors. We are both artists.
My name is Duncan Smith. I'm the chair of the National Federation, about which I will say something later on this morning. I'm also the founder and artistic director of Activa. We manage more studio buildings than anyone else in the UK. We're an educational charity and are much involved in all kinds of education and community projects. My aspiration is to see the provision of studio space taken as seriously as the provision of spaces to show the work that's produced at the end of the process. It's wonderful that there are places like this, but very often it's a struggle and depends on the voluntary efforts of people like you to enable people to actually make art.
Now the next thing that's going to happen is that brunch is going to slowly arrive and be set on the table. During brunch, we're going to start a conversation, really to find out what you want to find out from, who you want to find out from.
But there is such a demand. I actually have an application process that doesn't allow commercial practitioners to come in, because I'm providing very, very cheap space, which for me aligns with more fine artists, people that are not necessarily making money, have to do 3 or 4 jobs on the side. I don't want to subsidise people that are actually in there and making a substantial commercial practice and £250 a day or an hour for what they do. I'm happy to provide studio space, and there's a big demand for that in Brighton. But then there's the cost of studio go up, and I would run that as a commercial benefit.
Advise you as whether you've got a business rate, leaky roof, or a curatorial issue. You know, there's lots of people that are part of the collective, and that's why it was set up, in order to not reinvent the wheel every time someone decides, like there's some people over here that are just starting out, stepping stones. Yeah, instead of, you know, you starting from scratch and having to find out how best to do all this. We've got templates about how you set up an organisation. We've got health and safety ideas.
Things happen on a day-to-day basis. We've now had to move on somewhere else, and it's not the best space, but it's okay at the moment, and we're trying to show work. It's a showing space there as well. But we love the idea that if something happened in Maidstone where we could go as a company and just work there and maybe move into a room for a little while, and then maybe move to another room within that space, and then maybe so that we're moving and changing at the same time, because it's very important with our practice that we do that.
Well, what I did was I looked at various properties around the area, because as we know there's loads of vacant buildings in Maidstone. So I looked at one and then another, trying to find what would be suitable and adapting the business model to suit all of the different buildings I found. When I eventually found the one which we are opening in, I just thought that because of the location, it would be a good way to showcase what is going on, like in terms of creativity that happens in Maidstone, and to bring that to the high street. And I thought having an out of the way location wouldn't make that impact. So it was very difficult to find a place that would be suitable, and to be honest, this place that we have now isn't quite suitable, because we can only provide 3 artist studios. Other than that, we've got a co-working space which is available for hire, and it's a discounted rate for members, and one of the band's members get the space inclusive in their membership package. So it's not ideal, because we can't actually house artists, and as an artist myself, I would be looking for a studio space, and we can only have 3 artists in residence, so it's not ideal. But that's why Kathy and I and various groups are trying to come together to, hopefully in the future, my vision is that we can get the provisions to buy a space and then provide studio spaces there.
NFASP supposed to be able to represent, and has for the last 5 or 6 years been trying to represent studios to anybody who is interested in finding out about them. Sometimes people ask us, other times we just insist on telling them. Members are able to come to us for support on the things I was talking about a moment ago. And for me personally, meeting with other studio providers. So that's what we set out to do. How we set out to do it, we're a charitable company. We have trustees, we are some of them. We were the people who, at that meeting back in 2006, were still standing at the end of the discussion. We worked and campaigned to make sure that, as far as we can, that cultural considerations are brought to bear on the development of those planning laws.
Some of this is self-evident, this is all self-evident. Times are tough, there's no let-up in demand, there are artists wanting to make work, there's a shortage of places for them to make work.
Embarked on commissioning a new site, and this is the first look. The colour schematics and things are medieval membership and regional networks. That's going to be one page. All the information that we've collected and we started to disseminate and finding out how we can better offer our services.
Like what I said about not everything, the value of that which can be valued in money terms or valued in non-monetary terms. Social return on investment takes everything back to currency, takes everything back to pounds worth. But it does that across a whole range of things which traditionally we've not really been able to find out what kind of value it would bring back to a local economy or to a voluntary sector or to whatever it might be. Well, that's got quite sophisticated, it's quite complicated, quite expensive to do kind of thoroughly, but actually there are, I think there's absolutely a kind of, there's a kind of an idiot's version, there's a fool's version of that, in which you can pick up the bits that you want fairly quickly and make an understanding of the value of volunteer time, for example, is, it's a relatively easy one to do in all sorts of ways of thinking about it.
So we actually have had our charitable credentials scrutinized and been through the provision of documents, meetings, examinations, cross-examinations and the rest. There was a new act in 2006. It seemed like it was getting increasingly difficult for people to become charities. And as I said, my organisation had the examiners in, so we thought it would be
given us fantastic access, all student providers use it in London, gives us fantastic access into universities. It's a way of starting to talk about our sector in a really practical way, so when people finish their degrees, they've got an idea of where to go. And then I think the jewel in our crown at the moment was the development of a new network called London's Artistsʼ. This was hosted very much or predicated on the idea and realisation that actually in East London at the moment there is the largest number of artists and arts organisations working in the world. Because we found actually by setting up our own sort of like portal, London Arts Quarter, we've got about 1,400 members now. It gets about an effect. People are using it to describe that part of East London. So it's no longer just a learning zone or the Olympics or the so-and-so or so-and-so. They're now starting to recognise it as a cultural area. And that, for us as a business, has been a really useful tool. Just put us at the heart of all the activity that's going on. and in a very simple way has joined us up with loads of people who we've been joined up with. We know that one of the things that we've got to sell is learning and innovation. We know that the community and that location within the community is the thing that embeds us and gives us a reason and gives us an identity and creates those partnerships and all, that's where all the other opportunities are. And then also, it's that environment, that impact that we actually have, how we physically exist, what we can do to change it. And I actually think most artists work to this model. They invest in their own careers. They look for a wide diversity of activities about to be able to survive. I think that's what we do. So basically, the whole business is based on model most artists are running quite successfully. But I think the function of running the business is probably as creatively rewarding as my practice was before, funnily enough. It's involved in the same sort of activity in so many ways.